I, thank you. I record these and I post them up on YouTube, the better recordings. I post them up on YouTube. So again, don't hesitate to track down YouTube and search by my name, and you'll find a whole bunch of stuff. But tonight we're talking about the Lion Portal. Now, I do want to sort of throw out a caveat. On my calendar, I put for last week's session on the portal for members. And then on my calendar for tonight's, I put for client Lions Club presidents and secretaries. On the schedule that I published, I had them reversed. So I'm going to go ahead with the portal for presidents and secretary, like I've got lined up here. Just that understand if you're not a president, a secretary, or a club administrator, some of the stuff that I demonstrated here, you'll not be able to do as a mere mortal within your Lions Club. But that's okay because you can still wander through, look at the abundance of information, and gather what you need from there. And I should also point out that there is one small part that you as a club member can modify in the database, and that is you can modify part of the information that regards you specifically. So your personal information, you can change a bunch of that, and I'll get to that. I'll show you that coming up shortly. So let's see what we got here. Come on, cooperate. There we are. I do want to point out also that the training schedule that we publish is always published on the MD19 website. It's in this location. You click on that little link right there, and it'll bring up the PDF. And hopefully, I try to keep that straight with my personal calendar and make sure I'm on the right track. Doesn't always work too well, but there it is. There's Brian Ross. Brian Ross emailed me earlier and said he was going to be joining us tonight. There he is. Better late than never. Or as my grandmother used to say, better Nate than lever. That's an old story. Wait till Brian gets connected in. There he is. Good evening, Brian. Glad to see you made it. Yeah, we can't hear you, but I think that's a good thing. So yes, the training schedule is always on the MD19 website at this location. Again, don't hesitate to track it down as you need. There we are. On the agenda, what I've got lined up for tonight, I want to talk about caveats and references where I find my information. I'm going to talk about the initial entry. If you've never been in the portal before, I'll talk about how you can get in there and then navigating about. I'll talk about member records, service records, talk about the Lions Learning Center, and I'll talk about the information, the database, the information that is available for everyone around the world that you can work with. Oh, I got yet another student here. Boy, aren't we all late? And it went 10 minutes after the hour, and she's finally joining us. Yeah. Come on through. Come on through. She's coming. I know she is. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe she dropped off. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the yeah, afraid so. So back to this. Yes, this is the on the agenda for the evening, and let's see what we can do to come on. This thing is not cooperating with me at all. Talk about caveats. I like to say that all of the training that I provide, all of the information, including information training sessions from guest instructors, they are not just for certain officers within your club, within your district. They are for everyone to know and appreciate. So while I've got this lined up and it is aimed towards presidents and secretaries, absolutely, all club members are always invited, always a good thing. As a general rule, the information regarding your club is information that can only be edited by the president, the secretary, or the club administrator. I say generally, there are a couple of small exceptions, and they is the information that affects you specifically. I don't provide exact links to most of my reference points. I do this for a good reason, not because I'm a mean and vindictive guy. No, 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 no. It's for a very good reason. I don't provide exact links because I am of the opinion that if people feed you exact links for specific pieces of information, then you're going to rely on other people to find stuff for yourself. I am of the opinion that we are better lions if we know where to find this stuff ourselves. We should know how to search. We should be familiar with the Lions International Landscape website. We should be familiar with the MD19 website. These are our primary sources of information when it comes to lions, and you need to be comfortable in those areas. Understand the Lions International website and the MD19 website are built completely differently. The layout is completely different. Navigating about is completely different. Yes, but you really need to know how to do that yourself. If I feed you the information specifically each and every time, you're not going to learn how to find stuff that you need, especially if it's time sensitive. So I don't provide the exact links for that reason. And I must also point out that I don't know it all. Yeah. It's hard to believe. I know for some folks this is a real letdown, but it's true. I don't know it all. And for that reason, I am continually changing, modifying, tweaking my presentations, my lectures, and because I don't know it all, and sometimes people point out things that I should include. If you if you experience something like this, we talk about something, the Lions Portal, and later on you find something that should be added, or maybe something that I presented was incorrect, please let me know. And understand that in the portal, occasionally the programmers, the people that control what you see there, they change stuff occasionally. The changes are less often now than they were, 5 months ago, 6 months ago. They are less often now, but still, nonetheless, they still add some stuff. And often they add stuff as because of folks like you and I bugging them. We used to be able to do this. Please include that function. The most recent example is that in the old, I think it was the My LCI, where we talked about where we could add information regarding service and hours and location and information regarding the service that we provide. One of the things that we could add to it, was pictures of the event. In the New Line portal, when they originally set it up, we could not do that. And of course, there was a great chorus of, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. And finally, they added it in about, I think, a little less than a month ago. They added that function in the service where you add information regarding your service activities. You can actually add pictures, and that's a recent add-on. So they are occasionally modifying, adding to, and tweaking what we see there. Continuing on, some of the screenshots that I use here tonight are from a different training session provided by Lions International. I use those different screenshots to protect the privacy of some of my fellow club members. A lot of what I'm going to be showing you is stuff from my club, and I occasionally need to show you what other stuff looks like. I don't want to compromise anything regarding privacy, so I'm utilizing their generic training and grabbing screenshots from that. This is my second attempt on this particular topic, and you can expect things may change when I do it again. Time tonight will be about an hour and a half, give or take. And at the end of the session, I will be loading this presentation, this PowerPoint, into the chat. And you can download it if you wish. You can download it onto your computer and utilize it as you wish on your end. And if we could, last but not least, save the questions till the end. My reference points from Lions International, of course. There's a lot of information that a club secretary and a club president need to know directly from Lions International. Anyone wandering into such a position without looking about to seeing what their role and responsibilities is treading a thin line, is treading a line that's going to cause problems. You really need to research and find out the role and responsibility and the tools that are available for each of these positions. Don't hesitate to go poking around in there just to see what you can find. Also, the Lions Learning Center. Now, the Lions Learning Center is inside the portal, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later on. But the Lions Learning Center, as the name implies, these are training sessions. They are interactive training sessions. They are free of charge. You can do them at any time, day or night. I encourage you to go looking about in the Lions Learning Center. There's a lot of great topics, and I'll talk about that in greater detail as we get there. Also available is something called the Lions University. Lions University, as the name implies, is like a school, but it's entirely online. It's like a university. You can actually obtain degrees. You can obtain a bachelor, a master's, and a doctorate degree from Lions University, free of charge. Absolutely. The difficult part, the drawback of that, is that the degrees that are earned there are not recognized by other universities, like the University of British Columbia or Harvard University. For some reason, they don't recognize. I just don't understand why. But there it is. I should let you know. YouTube. You might think, yeah, it's a toy. No, YouTube is a great resource for a lot of information regarding Lions and what we do and how we do it. The videos that I post there are one of many people that post a lot of stuff up there, and LCI, Lions International, actually posts videos on YouTube as well. Don't hesitate to track down in YouTube. Inside of YouTube, search for Lions Club. Now, when you search for Lions Club in YouTube, you will find a whole bunch of links and videos for Lions Club for the Lions football team out of Detroit. Yeah. So you wade past all that nonsense and you can get to the real stuff, you get to the good stuff. Another reference, another source of information that I'd like to discuss very briefly is on Facebook. There are two particular groups. They are technically called groups. These are named forums. But these two groups here, the Lion Portal Forum is regarding discussions on the Lion Portal. They do not allow things like congratulations to District Governor so-and-so, or happy birthday, or we did this, or we did, no. This is for discussions regarding the portal. And the same is true of the Global Lions Forum. The Global Lions Forum was assembled, put together for that purpose, to ask questions and get answers, to provide ideas. It's a great forum. It's not there for congratulations. It's not there for the fluff. It's there for the content, the serious stuff. For the Global Lions Forum, you can submit your posts, and if it's approved, it will be displayed for everyone to see. Yeah, there's a screening process there. Understand there are over 23,000 Lions on the Global Lions Forum. Around the world, there are people holding a variety of discussions on a variety of topics. Check out the Global Lions Forum. It's a great resource, really is. In your position as the club president or the club secretary, you are in a leadership position. And understand, when you step into these positions, you step away from that of a volunteer to that of a position of obligation. As a volunteer, when we volunteer to participate in something, a service project, a highway cleanup, if you don't show up for the highway cleanup, it's not a big deal. You're a volunteer. It's not a big deal. The fellow club members may give you a little bit of a ration at the next meeting, but it's not like they're going to dock your pay because you're a volunteer. But when you step into a leadership position, whether it's a chair of a committee or your club presidency, understand this is a position of obligation. You're telling your fellow club members you are obligating yourself. You're going to do such and such. And your fellow club members expect you to do exactly that. So you're stepping away from volunteer. You're stepping into a position of responsibility. So take it seriously. As club president or secretary, your club members expect you to know, to understand, and to use the various tools of your office. And there are many. And of course, this is again an urge, a suggestion that you track down some of these tools, some of these resources, and use them as you can. The old "I don't know" response must be followed by seeking the answers and learning how to do it. Okay, enough of the preaching. Let's talk about navigating to the portal. At lionsclubs.org, that's the URL, that's the website. At the top of the website, we see this. If you've never been to the Lions portal before, you actually get there by clicking on this little thing up at the top right. It says member login, and it presents you with a small dialogue. If you've already been on the portal, of course, you provide these credentials and away you go. If you've never been there before, you need to click on that little item on the bottom. It says don't have an account, and it will walk you through the process. It will ask you for three primary pieces of information. It will ask you for your membership number. If you don't know your membership number, your club president or secretary can track it down for you. It will also ask you for an email address, and it will ask you for a password. Not really difficult, not really difficult at all. Provide those pieces of information. It will confirm the information for you via the email address that you provide, and you can work your way back over and you're into the Lions portal. Once you've got your credentials set and you're in the Lions portal, this is what it looks like initially. Now, compared to the old MyLion and the old MyLCI, the layout is completely different. The icons are completely different. The labels are different, et cetera, et cetera. The arrangement is different. Everything is different here. Why? Because it's not the same old MyLCI. Yeah. Understand that the folks that devised this, the programmers that put this together, they followed a standard principle that Microsoft established a long time ago that says there's always more than one way to do the same thing. And you're going to find the same is true here in the portal. For instance, you will find that if you want to get to your membership information, you can either do it by the large icon on the left or opening up the menu up there at the top, the one that says membership, and it will lead you to the same place. There's more than one way to do the same thing. And we find this over and over again here in the portal. Another one is, again, pointing at the menu at the top, and this isn't one of the icons, but this is, I guess it's sort of an icon down there at the bottom left. This is another way of getting to the same point. So if you're confused, you're not sure how to get to where you want to get to, do some exploring, do some poking around, maybe clicking here and there. You'll find what you need to find. Especially when you're first navigating about within the portal. If you find problems, if you find that things are incorrect or things are not working for you, this is your contact information for the folks at Lions International. Lions support at lionsclubs.org. If you've never sent an email to lionsclubs.org, understand Lions plural, clubs plural, or you can exercise the phone number. Depending on how busy they are, they may not be able to answer that phone call right away. And sometimes they do, depending on how busy they are. And the same is also true of the email. So sometimes we have to exercise patience. For me, I have found that numerous emails that I've sent to line support, and I prefer emails. I prefer to have stuff in writing. The numerous emails that I've sent to them, I usually get a response back with an answer. Sometimes I don't. I have to nudge them, maybe 2 or 3 times. I have to nudge them, but I generally get feedback and find the information that I need. Regarding finding the information that you need, you might want to also consider this. This right here will lead you to YouTube. and it will provide videos that are produced by Lions International, not some amateur Yahoo like me. This is the professional stuff that they produce at Lions International. Don't hesitate to go poking around in there. Again, they've got some very good videos, probably better than mine. I also want to point out one more item, this more. For me, I've been working with software for a very, very long time. Whenever I find an item, a menu that says more or next or anything like that, I'm curious. I want to go poking around. The reason I took this screenshot is because I want to point out my club, my CA, aha, are the same two items that are found at the top of the list, top of the home page, the web page there, the landing page. So again, this illustrates there's more than one way to do the same thing. Same thing. Don't hesitate to just go wandering around. When you click on My Membership, understand that there are two ways to get there. One is by the large icon on the left, and the other is way up here. When you open that up, it opens up a menu, and this is what you get. My settings, which will bring up the information that I'll display here in a minute, messages, any messages that may have been going back and forth, and I understand that the message function is not yet operational. I have not checked it out lately, so it may be now. But the idea here is sending message between your fellow club members, between your fellow Lions, literally around the world. Contact support, and of course, log out. So this is what your information will look like. I know I'm displaying my information here. But notice a couple of things. First of all, they try to lay it out, arrange it in a halfway logical fashion, which is good. And whenever you find something that is in blue, just like any place else with other applications on or off the web, this means it's a link. You can click on it to see where it leads you. Of course, if I were to click on this, it would bring up an Outlook outgoing email message addressed to lional@headstrom.ws, and I could generate an email message just by clicking on that little guy right there. My phone number, etc., 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 etc. It even, it even down here has a map as to where I live. Now you all know where I live. 4146 Big Beef Crossing. Yes, it actually exists. And it provides a map, So now this is your information. But there's a lot of information regarding your activities within Lions that cannot be displayed all on one page. So they have sort of split it up, if you will. They've got information regarding your memberships in other Lions clubs, and they are missing, by the way, they are missing two other pieces of information from my history. That's one of the things that they have not yet got back to me on, and the different officer titles that I've held within my club. Notice these two here, my personal details and view members that I've sponsored. Yes, this will actually bring up a list of members, even those members that are no longer Lions. It will bring up a list of all of the members that you've sponsored. And if you click on my personal details, it brings up this personal information. Yeah. And notice, I may have to stand corrected. I'm looking at this. This tells me that this is information, a piece of information. It does not have the pencil icon, which tells me that I cannot edit it. So maybe I stand corrected on that one. So this is my personal information. I also want to point out, come on, where are you? Here we are. I also want to point out a couple of menu items up here at the top, and different menus have different content, of course. My settings, and this would be information regarding your password and so forth, and editing. There it is, editing my details. That's what I would use to edit, modify my information. back at the landing page, back at the home page, want to briefly, well, not so briefly actually, talk about your club. So when you click on this icon, it brings up information about your club. Notice again, a similar layout to what we had with our personal information. And I notice it's got the club ID number, the type, Leo Lion Club, branch club, virtual club, specialty club, and there's a couple of others. So this identifies us as a regular Lions Club. It also identifies us as part of District. Oh, this is the Arcola team. This is the screenshot from the Lions International training video that I captured. So this is not real stuff. This is not real stuff. I looked at that at District 1M and I said, that's an error. That's because, yeah, all right. So it's got this information generally, as well as information regarding your club members over here. Notice also club service activities and financial details. If you click on the club service activities over here, oh, let me go back. I wanted to point this out. If you click on the club service activities over here, it brings up this information. The most recent is displayed first. And again, whenever you find something in blue, it means that's a link. And by clicking on that, you can actually bring up the information. And if you need to, you can edit it. This is one way of doing it. Here's the other. Going back over to club details. Of course, it's got my detailed information regarding my club here, and it's correctly accounting as us as part of District 19N, and we're in Zone 1. And of course, I also want to point out this little icon here. It means that me as club secretary, because I am my club secretary. Me as club secretary, I can actually change this stuff if I need to. If I need to export my information, the data export, it brings up this menu here. Member contact information, officer contact information, and member detail. Member detail is all of the various details regarding your club members, phone numbers, addresses, occupation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The nice thing about the member detail is that you can export that, if you will. That's why they call this the data export. You can actually use that to export, to download that information and drop it into a spreadsheet. Kind of cool. Member contact information, this is what it looks like. And again, I will point out, we got links here and part of multiple District 19. And these are the various pieces of information regarding my club members. Initially at least, alphabetical order. No, it's not an alphabetical. It's, I'm not sure what order it is, but there it is. And of course, you can modify it as you need to. I will point out something that you're probably accustomed to when working with Microsoft products, and that is these little guys right here. Those are filter and sorting tools. If you have a large amount of information, you can sort them in a particular way, or you can filter out those pieces of information that you don't need to. Understand, you can do the same thing up here. So if you need to do any of those tools, there's a couple of different ways to get there. You can create a chart over here, and you can actually, utilizing this over here, you can edit the content for all of your members as club secretary, president, and administrator. That's a close-up of what that thing looks like. Nice and convenient there. And there's my close-up. And from there, if you click on edit, this is where you go through the process of the download with that little list arrow to the right side of edit. So you've got the save as and the export. Save as, I've not tried save as myself because I rely on this. I rely on the export portion and I select first details only, and then I select my preferred format. For me, it's XLSX, and that's me. The formatted report will generate a PDF for you. Yeah, and so manipulating and maneuvering that stuff from a PDF is a little bit of a task. So for me, I much prefer working with this because I know what I'm doing there. Yeah. When it comes to working with the formatted report, it's more or less a read-only type of arrange with information, of course, but I can't play with it. Formatted. I want to mention formatted. Yep, I've done that. Download to a spreadsheet, and yep, okay, I explained all that. I want to talk briefly about club statements. Yeah, I know. Me as club treasurer, I can do all sorts of neat things that I cannot do as club secretary. So as club secretary, I can still see the amount. I can still utilize this to download the PDF statement so that I can see what's due and what we've got to take care of. And as club treasurer, the club treasurer has access to all this information, of course, and has access to certain tools that will allow the club treasurer to pay the dues online. Yes, they can do it by bank debit card. That's what I was trying to think of, bank debit card, or as or with a credit card. Either way, it will work very nicely. And they've been doing this for years. It's nothing new there. So the club statements provide the information regarding what we've got going on financial with Lions International. This does not address any dues to multiple District 19, strictly Lions International. Club service activities. Again, a different place where you can see this information. Again, we've got the links in blue. And again, we've got different ways that we can sort and arrange the information that we want to. I like the fact that we've got these two items, the signature and project, as well as the complete report project. As club secretary, treasurer, and president, I can activate any of these links here, excuse me, and then edit the content of them. The financial details, yeah, this is a summary of what's going on with the club finances. Again, for LCI only. Back over here at the information regarding the club, the actual menu that is displayed here is outdated. Outdated because, and I again utilized this particular screenshot because I didn't want to display too much information regarding my members. So I used this generic one here. But this is a little bit outdated, and I'm talking about this guy over here. It's a little bit outdated because the real thing looks like this. There are actually 5 different items in that menu, and you can work with any one of them. Managing club members, if you need to do some editing, adding, subtracting, transferring, etc. Club officers, because you've got a large club, you got 50, 100 different members in your club, you want to work with just the club officers. This is a fast and easy way to do that. Managing delegates. Oh, I don't want to get, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. I want to talk about very briefly that managing the club members, just like with the club officers, I can add new members here, edit, reinstate, transfer, drop. 2 items to mention in this regard. Number 1, I can edit the information regarding the club members except for their date of birth and their name. You have to coordinate, Pardon me. You have to coordinate with Lions International to change these two items, but everything else you can change, the address and phone numbers and so forth. When it comes to working with the club officers, then, there was one other thing I wanted to mention. And that is transferring member. The starting club drops the member, the receiving club adds the member, and they use that with the transfer. Yeah, it's kind of clumsy in my opinion, kind of clumsy right now. But that's the process. The first club drops that member, and then of course the receiving club does a transfer to pick up that member. I know, kind of odd, but there it is. Managing the club members. With this, you can create new assignments, which are very cool. You can end assignments, and this includes committee chairs, and you can add officer information. Add officer address. For years, I've been looking at the database from Lions International that has information about about an entire club or district or multiple district, and it will list all of their various clubs, first name, last name, address. It will also have further down other columns, officer address, officer phone number, officer state, etc., which is identical to the members' information. I'm still not sure of the logic, but there it is. And here we see an example of that when we add officer address. Presumably, if you utilize this, it would be different than their regular address that we have listed for them as a member. I don't know. But there it is. If we want to create a new assignment, this is interesting here. Current Lions year, sure. You can create an officer or administrator position, and this is where the club admin comes in place. If you add none, if you select none, you can actually create an officer position for your club. Your club has this level of autonomy. Seriously, you can create an official or local position, however you want to term it, for whatever purpose. Typically, the local information, no, I won't say that. Both local and official, I have seen used for committee chairs, absolutely. Because the committee chairs are not going to be officially, many committee chairs are not going to be officially recognized by Lions International. Yeah. In charge of the quilting guild. Well, that's not recognized by Lions International, but it's part of your club organization, so you can add it here. Kind of cool. If you are doing this, you have to create a title for that. And if you create a title for that, of course, you key it in, and it's part of the database. Just that simple. So working with club officers, there's a lot of flexibility in here, and you follow the prompts, and you can work your way to what you need to add, what you need to modify. Delegates. I'm talking about convention delegates. Every club is entitled to send delegates to their district, multiple district, if they're part of a multiple district, and international conventions. The purpose of a delegate is to vote, to speak, vote on behalf of the club. For every 10 members, every club has one delegate. And of course, that delegate can vote at the district, multiple district, and international conventions for anything that is on the agenda for voting. And this includes ballots for officers. This includes additions, changes, subtractions from constitutions and bylaws and policy manuals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is the business end of conventions. Understand that if a member of your club is going to be a delegate for any convention, that person must register for that convention in order for them to be recognized as a delegate and therefore able to vote. If they do not register for the convention, they cannot just walk in and say, I'm a voting delegate. I want to vote. No register, no vote. You got to register. And this has been the standard for decades and decades and decades, a very, very long time. Club actions, something a little different here. Again, working with the club information here. And the actual menu looks like this. So if you've ever been wondering how you can get those handy dandy little membership cards that you like to hand out every year, this is where you do it. The delegate confirmation letters and viewing reports. If you've ever been wondering how you can get to those old reports that you've been relying on for such a long time, including some of the achievements from your club's past history, the club roster generated as a PDF. Yeah, very cool. Club roster membership data. That is where you can download it as a PDF or as a Excel spreadsheet, et cetera, et cetera. Family unit report. So this is where you can get those reports that you've been relying on for such a long time. For those that are familiar with the different reports, this one is probably the one most requested. Of course, the club roster, because every secretary, really, and a whole bunch of other folks, but especially the secretary, absolutely relies on this. So this is where you can obtain your club roster. I do want to point out that you can create a new club application. Come back here. Create a new club application for sponsoring a new club. Just above that, you can create a club branch. Creating a club branch administratively for the secretary literally takes about 5 minutes. Unlike creating a new club, which can take months. There's a lot of work involved with creating a new club. Creating a club branch is far easier, far faster. The last item down there on the bottom of that menu, the edit the club details. For instance, if you're changing your meeting place and time and frequency, etc., that's where you do that sort of information. Now, again, this is under the club actions, under the My Club icon. So next, what I want to talk about is service. And I pointed out earlier, you can get to this by either inside of My Club or opening up this menu and looking at your service activities. Gee, what a great idea. Now, when it comes to working with this stuff, understanding again that with the different links, these are items that we can edit. And interestingly enough, on this particular display, these two items right here, I particularly wanted to mention that because I tried this, I can actually add that check mark right there for the signature activities right from that screen right there. I don't have to open up the item itself in order to add that little check mark there. Kind of interesting. So when we're working with this and we want to create a service activity, let me walk backwards. If I want to create a service activity, and I'm looking at this handy collection of information here, and I want to add a service activity, what's the, up here, duh, right here. So I click on that to create a service activity, and it starts the process with this dialogue. Of course, it's with My Club. Why else would I be here? Name of my activity is typed in this location. That right there, where it says name of activity goes here, I typed that. So that's where you type the title of your activity. And then the type of activity is selected from this menu right here. Now, if the activity does not meet any one of those different definitions right there, of course, you can select none and create one of your own. And so this is the screen where we add our information regarding the activity. And you can add the activity that is planned but not yet completed, or you can add an activity that has been completed. And the trigger for that is this guy right here. So add your information. You can save your information. If it's not complete, you can, because you need to add stuff later on, it's going to happen this weekend, and I'll add this on Sunday or Monday. Then of course you would leave that little spot right there empty. It's a matter of filling in the blanks. It really is. And it asks some fairly detailed information, including there's a section in this where you can add verbiage as to what you active, any details you want to provide, the location, the people, participants involved, lines or non-lines, does not matter. This is just a text field, and you can add a whole bunch of information in there. That's where you add your details. Anybody who's gone through this with the old reporting method, you're going to find some very familiar territory here. I want to talk about the Lions Learning Center. It's abbreviated with this little title here of the menu. It says Learn. Interestingly enough, if you click on that, it opens this in a separate tab in your browser, leaving the first tab untouched, opening up this in a separate tab. And this is divided into 3 sections. Up at the top, the online training, and I'll talk about that in a second here. International institutes. Those are institutes that are sponsored, created, run by Lions International. And if you or someone in your club is eligible for this, at least initially, they will be listed here, like faculty development. If you've already gone through faculty development, then of course the next Lions Certified Instructor Training Program will be displayed, et cetera, et cetera. These are international institutes. As a general rule, the way these international institutes are set up and run is that you provide the transportation to the institute, wherever it may be, and it may be anywhere in the US or Canada. You provide the transportation, and I think, because it's been a while, $100 out of your own pocket. Lions International provides the hotel room, the meals, and all the training material for you. So it's really a pretty good deal. And they do not mess around. This is not a mom and pop motel that they do this in. They put you up in a nice hotel, and they have professional equipment to guide you through the lessons. It's really, really, really worth the effort if you can get into any one. And there's a number of them. Go onto the Lions International website and type in institutes, and you'll find a list. And down there at the bottom, I understand this is now active. I am not a GLT, Global Leadership Team. I'm not a GLT, so I cannot add anything in here. But I have been told, and I've actually seen instructions on how to add information regarding up and coming training sponsored by the zone, district, or multiple district or region. If you happen to be in a multiple district that has regions, any one of these can be added into the local institutes and training. The one institute that we have coming up for MD19 is Northwest Lions Leadership Institute. It's going to be in Post Falls, Idaho. It's in May. I don't have exact dates. If you look at nwlli.org, you will find all the information right there. Now I want to bring the attention back up to the top, the Online Training Center. Online training, these are free courses, and they are a wide variety of topics. Let me show you what it looks like. You click on the Go, the yellow label button on the right side, and it leads you to this. And initially, you're going to be starting off at home, which is a nice little, cute little splash page, but you really want to click on the content library, because it's within the content library that it brings up starts working with the content, the different courses that are available. Now, the courses, I'm not sure in what order that they are assembled, but there they are. I want to bring to your attention over there on the left side. By default, it shows all of the courses, and of course, you have to scroll through several pages before you can see all of them. But it has courses, it has learning paths. For instance, if you're going to be club president next year, or you're already club president, you click on learning path or type in the title club president path, and it will bring up a list of different courses that they suggest that you take for the purpose of preparing for club president. Same is true with treasurer and secretary, and a whole bunch of other positions, including our up and coming district governors. So the learning paths is what I like to suggest. And if you have no particular goal in mind, look at all the different courses that are available. They are related to Lions, but not strictly related to Lions, including some of the organizational courses that are available. Again, these are free of charge. Closing down the tab for the Lions Learning Center, excuse me. Oh, good dinner. Returning to the Lion Portal landing page here. I want to bring to your attention this little menu right here, the reports and insights. There is a wealth of information in here that are available for everyone to see, including information regarding membership for every club going back 10 years, every club around the world going back 10 years. Now, it just shows numbers, it doesn't show names. Same is true with service activities. It just shows numbers. It doesn't show names, who participated or anything like that. There's a wealth of information in here. One of the first I like to suggest is the dashboard. And this is a summary of what's going on regarding our service activities, regarding our membership, regarding the donations to LCIF. And there's some great stuff happening in here. If you were to click on the membership item there at the top, this is what it will show you. Now, I bring this to your attention because, and this takes a bit of getting used to, but initially what you're looking at is total membership of Lions International around the world. Notice over here on the left side, let me bring my mouse over. Notice over here on the left side, total membership, dropped membership, and membership by type. Yeah, they have different categories of membership: family membership, lifetime membership, legal Lion membership, etc. And they will show them, break them down by type or category. But more important, I would like to bring to your attention underneath that, right here, you can start isolating and digging down to find the information that you're looking for. CA stands for Constitutional Area. We are in Constitutional Area 1. I should say, I am in Constitutional Area 1. Canada is Constitutional Area 2. You can start searching by Constitutional Area, then search by multiple district, then search by district, and then within the districts, you'll find the individual Lions clubs with a whole lot of information regarding each of the clubs. You can find this information for current and immediate prior year, all by clicking. Kind of cool. I don't anticipate, it's possible, but I don't anticipate that they will have a search function in here. I mean, for some, what is it, 40,000 clubs that we have around the world, I don't think that they're going to create a search button for that. I mean, I may be wrong. I don't know. But that would be a real task to set up a search algorithm for something that big. Nonetheless, there's a lot of information that you can find. The same is true when it comes to the service activities over here, and of course, donations to LCIF. Clubs, these are total number of clubs, and you can isolate that by constitutional area, multiple district. Yep. Again, it'll show you the current and immediate prior year. If you want to get to the older stuff, then you have to open up the menu again. And I want to point out that this item right here, this will lead you to a web page that has a list of folders. If you are at all familiar with the old DOS, it has a lot of similarities to that, in that it's going to show you a whole bunch of folders, directories. You click on a folder and it will show you another folder directory. Click on another one, it will show you a great big long list of PDFs that are membership reports for that particular district. Isolate your club, find out the information. And this goes back 10 years. Yeah, it's really kind of interesting. Again, it's just numbers. Coming back here, uh, because I don't want to get too far afield, the insights for the districts. This is where your district governor has set up goals for your district. And I've specifically set up numbers over here, number 1, number 2, and number 3, because this should be the order in which you try to isolate what you're looking for. Constitutional area, of course, and then move over to multiple district. And in this example, I've selected multiple district 19. I selected US and affiliates, constitutional area 1. Then I selected MD19. And then I selected my district, District 19N, by simply clicking right here. And it brings up this information that we see regarding achieving goals, membership net gain, new membership, new clubs, etc., etc., etc. Each of these columns represents something different. And this is the key up here. Mission 1.5. The blue is current. The dark blue is previous year. Yeah. So we've got the key for that right up here. Again, there's a ton of information in here. Understand you cannot break this. This is read only. It comes from Lions International to you for your display, to display for your information. You're not going to break anything by wandering through here. And I am continuously fascinated by the amount and type of information that I can dig up out of here. I do like to encourage wandering through the reports and insights. Set your goals, fairly small. Say, for instance, you want to find the service activities for your particular club that's been recorded on Lions International. So wander through and figure out how to find service activities for your club for the current year and the prior year. Again, numbers only. Kind of cool. What I have just talked about are the primary areas of the portal. And there's some stuff that we did not explore in here. If I did, it would take me a couple more hours, and I don't want to subject you to all that. So I do encourage you to go through there and find some stuff, maybe some stuff I did not talk about. Again, you're not going to break anything. Well, if you're secretary, president, or administrator, you might be able to break something. But again, go poking around just to see what you can find. If you're not in an editing screen, you're not going to break it. If you are in an editing screen, be aware that if you click on save, you're saving your changes. So be aware. And that's what the cancel button is for, by the way. And last but not least, while I'm asking for each of you to pose some questions, I'm going to be loading into the chat this PowerPoint that I'm using here tonight. Clubhouse Training Portal, and open this up. Questions, thoughts, ideas about anything that I've been talking about tonight. Okay, it's loaded in the portal. It's loaded in the chat. If you open up the chat at the bottom of your Zoom window, to the left of the green button is chat. You click on that and point at Lion Portal SecPres V2. And at the top right of that little rectangular area is the download button, and you can download it onto your computer. Questions? Thoughts? Ideas? What did I miss? Art would say that I missed a good joke and he had to provide one. Wow. I believe I've stunned you all into silence. That's what I am. That's what I believe. Okay. If there are no other questions, let me do this. Come on. There we are. If there are no other questions, please keep in mind my email address. You've probably already seen it, but there it is anyhow. Don't hesitate to send me a note, questions or ideas or improvements. And I always look forward to making this a better product. So with that in mind, if there are no other questions, I will stop the share, bring us back here, and I guess I will bid you all a good evening. And again, thanks for connecting in tonight. I do appreciate your time.